Nigerian troops eliminating famous bandit leader Kachala Makore. North Central APC rejects court ruling on Ganduje's leadership. President Tinubu pushes for UN permanent seat and debt forgiveness for Nigeria. On the foreign scene, Ghana faces nationwide lockdown as illegal mining crisis escalates. Good afternoon and welcome to the news update on Trust TV. I am Aisha Salihu. The news in detail. Nigerian security forces have killed another notorious bandit leader, Kachala Makore, along with several of his fighters. This was made known on Wednesday by Zagazola Makama, a Lake Chad Basin counter-terrorism and insurgency expert, in a post on his X handle. Makama disclosed that the operation took place on Sunday along the Kwankele Road in Magami area of Gusau local government area in Zamfara State. The security expert explained that Makore and his men were reportedly en route to recover the body of fellow bandit leader Kachala Sani Black, who had been killed earlier in the Dan Sado area of Maru local government area. He stated that Sani Black was neutralized in Magama Meirake, a known notorious hotspot for banditry. The North Central APC Forum announced on Tuesday that it would challenge the ruling of the Federal High Court in Abuja, which dismissed its suit seeking the removal of Abdullahi Ganduje as the national chairman of the party. The forum earlier brought Ganduje, APC and the Independent National Electoral Commission before the court, seeking the nullification of Ganduje's appointment as the national chairman of the party. Ganduje was appointed national chairman of the party after the resignation of the erstwhile national chairman Abdullahi Adamu in July 2023, shortly after President Bola Tinubu was sworn in. Adamu from Nasarawa State in the North Central Geopolitical Zone was replaced by Ganduje from Kano State in the Northwest Geopolitical Zone. The appointment of Ganduje sparked outrage among the North Central chieftains of the party, who demanded that the slot be retained in the zone. The North Central APC took Ganduje, APC and INEC to court, and their case was struck out on Monday. Justice Inyang Ekwo struck out the suit before the forum because the forum was not a juristic person registered in law and therefore had no legal power to file it. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has asked the United Nations to prioritize debt forgiveness from creditors and multilateral financial institutions for Nigeria and other developing countries. President Tinubu, who is the chairman of the Authority of Heads of States and Government of the Economic Community of West African States, made the call while addressing world leaders during the general debate of the ongoing 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly at the UN headquarters in New York, United States. Represented by his Deputy Vice President Kashim Shettima at the high-level annual global event, the president asked for debt relief to enable developing countries to focus on developmental projects for their citizens. He called on world leaders to recommit themselves to multilateralism by deepening relations among member states of the UN in line with the principles of inclusivity, equality, and cooperation. This, he said, is the surest guarantee of global action against existential challenges faced by the international community. The Senate on Wednesday commenced the screening of Justice Kudirat Kekereekun for appointment as the Chief Justice of Nigeria. Other accompanying judges of the Supreme Court, judicial officers and senior assistants to the President on National Assembly matters were also admitted into the chamber for screening and confirmation. The development comes after President Bola Tinubu rolled the Senate on Tuesday, seeking the confirmation of Kekereekun as the Chief Justice of Nigeria. Senate President Godswill Akpabio read Tinubu's letter during plenary on Tuesday. In the letter, Tinubu cited Section 231, subsection 1 of the Nigerian Constitution, which empowers him to appoint the CJN based on recommendations from the National Judicial Council, pending Senate approval. The president expressed confidence in her nomination and urged the Senate to act urgently. The National Judicial Council in August recommended Justice Kekereekun to President Tinubu as successor to the former CJN, Justice Olukayode Ariwola. Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court, Abuja, has adjourned the alleged money laundering case filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission against the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahya Bello, until October 30, 2024. The adjournment came as Bello moved to the Supreme Court to file an appeal seeking to set aside the arrest warrant issued by the trial court on April 17. At the day's proceedings, counsel to Bello A.M. Adoyi drew the court's attention to the fact that the issue of arraignment of the defendant was the subject matter of an appeal already entered by him at the Supreme Court. He said he would like to draw the court's attention to the appeal by virtue of the affidavit of record filed on September 23. He added that the appropriate thing to do was to wait for the decision of the Supreme Court in the aforesaid appeal before taking any step for arraignment, so as not to render the appellant's appeal null or to pull the rug out of the feet of the Supreme Court. Counsel for the EFCC and Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Kemi Pinheiro, however, told the court that the defendant's counsels were turning the court into a place for entertainment. He added that an appeal that the defendant filed at the Court of Appeal disputing the mode of service of the charge and proof of evidence on their counsel was dismissed by the Court of Appeal on the 28th of August this year. The Nigerian Bar Association has released its findings on the Edo State governorship election held last Saturday, raising concerns over low voter turnout and the influence of money. According to the report jointly signed by the leader of NBA's election working group, Bolatumi Animashaun, and the General Secretary, Mobolaji Ojibara, the team monitored the poll across all the polling units in the state. In the report released on Monday, the NBA said its monitoring team observed the voting materials and officials arrived late in many polling units, particularly within Benin City, the state capital. The association also said its team deployed by the president, Afam Osigwe, observed that in a few polling units, neither INEC personnel nor electoral materials were deployed. The report also stated that the monitoring team observed instances of vote buying at polling units. The NBA expressed worry that despite efforts to prevent the menace, money has continued to influence fairness and transparency in Nigeria's elections. Senator representing Abia North, Orji Uzor Kalu, has stressed the need for President Bola Tinubu to take drastic actions in addressing the hardship Nigerians are facing. Senator Kalu made the declaration on Tuesday while briefing journalists at the resumption of the National Assembly in Abuja. The report.
He noted that though the president's already taken steps to addressing the plight of citizens, there is still more ground to cover. While acknowledging that the president has taken some courageous decisions to reform the economy, Senator Kalu said true development does not come without a price.
It's about courage. The man is very courageous in terms of courage. Possibly if I'm president, what he's doing now to reform the economy, taking everything together, I might not do it. I might come slowly, but the man is very courageous. Very, very courageous. So it goes with hardship. So people, I know, even in my village, in everywhere I go, the companies, everybody, there's hardship. But I appeal to federal government, I appeal to the president to know how he can bring succor quickly to people of Nigeria.
Answering questions from journalists on the state of his private aircraft, Senator Kalu maintained that the state of the economy has made him park his jet to enabling him pay needed attention to his chain of businesses.
I called our senior members in the company. I said, well, I have to also make my own sacrifice. It's not for federal government, it's for the good of our company. So I said, fly no more. Fly the commercial, go with the commercial, and save the money for restructuring of our workers, both in Nigeria and West Africa.
Answering question on pressure within the ruling party to restore subsidy, the lawmaker maintained that he will back any decision that will reduce the hardship Nigerians are passing through.
Still in the Senate, the Nigerian Senate has suspended plenary in honor of the late Senator Ifeanyi Uba, who passed away during the annual recess of the National Assembly. The Red Chamber resumed its plenary session on Tuesday following the annual recess that began in late July. The report.
President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, read several correspondences from President Bola Tinubu. The communications included a supplementary appropriation bill for the Federal Capital Territory, the nomination of Justice Kudirat Kekereekun for confirmation as the Chief Justice of Nigeria, and a request for the confirmation of commissioners for the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission.
I am pleased to forward for confirmation by the Senate the appointment of 21 underlisted nominees as commissioners to fill the existing vacancies of their respective states in the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission.
After the formalities, the lawmakers paid tribute to the late Senator Ifeanyi Uba by observing a moment of silence. Senator Uba, who passed away in late July, aged 52, represented the Anambra South Senatorial District and chaired the Senate Committee on Petroleum Resources downstream. Following the tribute, the plenary section was adjourned to honor the late senator.
We therefore extend our heartfelt condolences to his family, his constituents, Anambra State, and indeed our dear nation. At the appropriate time, we'll do justice to his legacies by devoting more time in chambers to discuss the times and life of distinguished Senator Ifeanyi Uba.
The adjournment by the Red Chamber is in line with the tradition of the National Assembly to suspend the first sitting after the death of a federal lawmaker. To more stories. The Federal Capital Territory Administration has begun moves to review the Abuja Master Plan 48 years after it was created. Abuja was adopted as the Nigeria's new Federal Capital Territory in 1976. The revelation was made on Tuesday when the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, played host to the Ambassador of Japan to Nigeria, Matsunaga Kazuyoshi, in his office. Ambassador Kazuyoshi had led a delegation of Japan International Cooperation Agency to the FCT Minister to discuss plans for commencement of work on the upgrading of Integrated Urban Development Master Plan of Abuja, as well as seek the minister's support on key JICA projects, including its nutrition improvement program. Commenting on the urban development plans, the minister pledged continued support of the FCTA and that of the departments of Satellite Towns Development and Land Administration, among other relevant bodies, for a successful master plan review. Executive Secretary, Federal Capital Development Authority, Shehu Hadi Ahmed, whose agency is in charge of the master plan, explained that the planned project would look into issues around water drainages, urban mobility, traffic congestion, and the Smart City Initiative, among others. And to the southwestern part of the country, Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde has assured landowners that a 75-meter setback rule on both sides of the proposed road project will be strictly enforced. He gave the assurance in Ibadan while addressing protesters on the ongoing demolition works that may leave many property owners homeless. Governor Makinde also stated that only structures erected along the corridor will be spared, emphasizing the importance of residents adhering to the state's building regulations. The report.
Residents along the circular road corridor have been protesting for days over the threats to demolish buildings along the road. The protesters remain defiant, strongly opposing the demolition of the structures, beyond the 150-meter mark along the proposed Senator Rashidi Adewolu-Ladoja Circular Road project. After a lengthy wait, Governor Seyi Makinde, accompanied by top government officials, addressed the property owners. He vowed to make adjustments that prioritize citizens' interests and adhere to building regulations in a bid to ease tensions surrounding the ongoing demolitions and development projects.
I told them they must remain law-abiding. That's one, and then two, anyone that has a building standing outside of the initial 150 meters, those people will be integrated. We won't demolish any of the buildings outside of the 150 meters that are already existing.
These residents, who cut across 6 local government areas in Ibadan, say they are not satisfied with the response of the state authorities. They are, however, urging government to be humane while going forward with the project and not render many families homeless.
What we've been hearing before was that after the 150 meters, government will now take 500 meter right, 500 meter left, making 1,150 meters. It has occupied the whole Ibadan.
The main issues have not been addressed. I was claiming that no houses on the 500-meter yard will be demolished. What about the lands and properties on this very same 500 meter? What about people that their house has been removed? What about the roofs of those houses that have been removed? He is not talking on this same issue.
As I'm standing here now, I'm 35 years, I served 35 years in the military, and I built my house around 1999. Somebody will now call overnight and say we demolished my house. So we are appealing to the government. We are appealing to Governor Seyi Makinde to please.
Ibadan's proposed circular road project is expected to traverse 6 local government areas, tackling traffic congestion, enhancing connectivity, driving economic growth, ensuring safety, and increasing property value.
The Director General, National Youth Service Corps, Brigadier General Yushau Ahmed, has urged the Nigerian Defense Academy to incorporate skills acquisition and entrepreneurship program into its curriculum. He made the recommendation at NDA 22nd Convocation Lecture in honor of the graduating cadets of 71 regular course and postgraduate students on Tuesday in Kaduna. The Director General also recommended that the Academy's postgraduate school should consider introducing a skill acquisition program for its students. He explained that such an initiative would provide the students with valuable practical skills that complement their academic pursuits, enhancing their employability and capacity for self-reliance. He said the skills acquisition is critical to national security. On the foreign scene, Ghana is set to undergo a nationwide lockdown on Monday, September 30, as civil servants and labor unions escalate their campaign against illegal mining, widely known as galamsey. The environmental devastation caused by these unregulated operations has triggered growing demands for urgent government intervention, including a state of emergency in mining areas and the cancellation of mining licenses. Recent reports from the Ghana Water Company Limited highlights the gravity of the situation, with severe water shortages resulting from the contamination of key water sources. According to the GWCL, 60% of the country's major water bodies have been polluted, and water treatment systems are being overwhelmed by turbidity levels, which have skyrocketed to an average of 14,000 NTU, far exceeding their capacity of 2,000 NTU. President Joe Biden has declared that the United States must not retreat from the world, as he delivered his final address to the UN General Assembly on Tuesday in the face of Israel and Hezbollah militants in Lebanon, urged toward an all-out war, and Israel's bloody operation against Hamas in Gaza neared the one-year mark. The Pentagon announced Monday that it was sending a small number of additional United States troops to the Middle East to supplement the roughly 40,000 already in the region. The White House insists Israel and Hezbollah still have time to step back and de-escalate. Israel and Hezbollah traded strikes again Tuesday as the death toll from a massive Israeli bombardment climbed to nearly 560 people and thousands fled from southern Lebanon.
The Security Council, like the UN itself, needs to go back to the job of making peace, of brokering deals to end wars and suffering. And to stop the spread of the most dangerous weapons, of stabilizing troubled regions in East Africa, from East Africa to Haiti, to Kenya-led mission that's working alongside the Haitian people to turn the tide. We also have a responsibility to prepare our citizens for the future. We'll see more technological change, I argue, in the next 2 to 10 years than we have in the last 50 years. Artificial intelligence is going to change our ways of life, our ways of work, and our ways of war.
In sports, European football's governing body has gone back to the drawing board after authorities in the Italian city could not offer guarantees that refurbishment work at San Siro Stadium and the surrounding area would not affect the match. The football body indicated in May that a decision on the 2027 final host was being postponed, subject to receiving the necessary guarantees around the San Siro refurbishment. Now a decision on a new host is expected in May or June next year. Agreement has also been reached over UEFA solidarity funding, with Premier League clubs outside of European competition receiving a smaller slice of over the next 3 seasons than under the previous agreement. The last time the San Siro hosted the Champions League final was in 2016, when Spanish giants Real Madrid egged city rivals Atletico on penalty shootout. Finally, in sports, former Real Madrid and Manchester United defender Raphael Varane has retired from professional football at the age of 31. Varane announced his retirement in a post on Instagram. He joined Italian side Como on a free transfer in July, but suffered a knee injury on his debut against Sampdoria last month. On his future plans, Varane added a new life begins off the pitch. Varane began his career at French side Lens, but spent just 1 season in the first team before joining Real Madrid in 2011. At Madrid, where he spent 10 years career, he won 18 trophies, including 3 La Liga titles and 4 Champions Leagues. In the summer of 2021, Varane moved to Old Trafford to earn an initial £34 million, going on to make 95 appearances in all competitions despite struggling with injuries. He won the Carabao Cup in 2022, and his final appearance for the club was an FA Cup final victory over rivals Manchester City at the Wembley in May. On that note, we've come to the end of the news. On the news updates at this hour, do not forget, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms, and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs and documentary. I'm Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for watching.